Good afternoon, Mr. Cartier. We're here from K&S Consulting, and we're here to help you discover the past performance of Dowling Mountain. So we believe your organization can discover its past performance, and we're going to show you some analysis we did for you.
First off, I'm going to run us through an agenda of what we'll be talking about today. We'll be starting with an industry analysis, where we'll be looking at the surrounding area and some of your competitors. Then we'll jump into a current position of your organization, so how Dowling Mountain is doing at the present time. Next up is challenge identification, the main challenges facing your organization, analysis concerns that we found, and the decision we believe you should move forward with. Then we'll talk about the implementation strategy of that decision, and finally some risks and how to mitigate them moving forward. And finally, we'll summarize that for you.
Okay, so industry analysis. As you know, there are 34 ski resorts in the New York State area. Devil's Hill, which is only 30 minutes away from Syracuse, is a beginner slope. And also we have Tipper Valley, which is 90 minutes away from Syracuse, which has a more advanced slope, and also some other activities as well. Something important to note about your industry is that there are very high fixed costs. So operating lifts, snowmaking machines, and also snow groomers all contribute to very high overhead costs of operating. More in the industry. Most of the resorts in your area operate as community resorts. So what that means is most of the patrons of these organizations aren't from around the country or around the globe as well. Most of them are from local communities. Resorts often try to differentiate themselves through only here activities. So that can be some off-season wildlife observing, and also hiking and mountain biking to generate additional revenue in addition to just the skiing. The current position of Dowling Mountain. You are a community resort, so most of your patrons are from Syracuse and also surrounding small towns. You have the highest and most challenging slopes in the area. You also have a current ratio of 0.06, which is including long-term debt, and that figure is from April 30th, 2010. So what this current ratio here means is you're not able to meet your short-term obligations. This long-term debt includes your $2.1 million mortgage, which you haven't been paying off, and we haven't seen any intention of paying that off, so we've included that into your current liabilities as well. Something important to note here is your income from operations has decreased 42% from 2009 to 2010. So that's a huge drop, and you'd definitely like to delve in there and see what caused it, and hopefully change that in the future. Interest expense and bank charges also contribute to a very high portion of your expenses. As we can see here, almost $267,000, or 15% of total expenses, arises from interest expense or bank charges.
So next, we're going to look at the challenges facing Dowling Mountain. First off, Dowling Mountain is struggling to generate profits with its current resources. Also, we're looking at a reduction in prices. A reduction in prices would require a 7% increase in the customers coming to the mountain in order to maintain the current revenue. However, we'll hope for a bigger increase in customers to further revenues.
So, our analysis concerns. Our first major concern is there's no reduction in the principal of debt. As stated, you have a $2.1 million mortgage, which is also at an 8% interest rate. What we've discovered here, according to Freddie Mac, there's a 4.27% market rate of interest in August of 2011. So that is an interest rate on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So if you did reduce to that rate, you'd be able to pay off some of that principal. Number two, so you had recent changes in your capital structure. So what that means is you've taken some of your money out of your capital and into your long-term debt, and use that to finance your activities. So we have a decrease of almost 1,300% in retained earnings from 2009 to 2010. What that means is you have no available cash to finance any new activities. It has led to a liquidity risk problem. As we can see here, you have a quick ratio of 0.02. So you have next to no available liquid assets to cover your short-term obligations. And number three, there's a significant lack of off-season income. Competitors have year-round income. So as previously stated, some of your competitors have hiking and mountain biking going on in their off-season. Costs accumulate in the off-season for you. So regardless of whether you don't have any activities there or not, you still have to maintain your land. So that's incurring costs, and what we'd like to see you is take advantage of that land and that opportunity for some revenue. So, our major decision for you here. We'd like to generate some additional revenue for this company. As you saw, 42% drop off from 2009 to 2010 really needs to be addressed. And of course, we need to reduce that long-term debt. That $2.1 million is not being reduced, and you're just servicing that interest. Something we'd also like to see you do is capitalize on community involvement. Members of the community and also your board members have expressed interest in really donating their time and their resources to Drowning Mountain.
So next we're going to step into the implementation strategy. First off, we're going to start with the short term, which will be 0 to 3 months. Then middle term, which will be 3 months to a year, and long term, 1 year to 3 years. We've broken it up this way to make it easier to monitor going forward. So first off, the short term. We need to look to refinance that debt. Currently we're paying 8% interest as opposed to the 4.27% interest it would be possible to get from a bank. We're also not currently paying any principal, so with this 4.27% rate, we'd be able to pay off $78,000 of principal in the first year. We also need to look at adjusting package prices. As mentioned earlier, if we were to set prices halfway between our current prices and Devil's Hills prices, we'll only need 7% increase in customers to maintain our current revenue. However, we're hoping that this increase is a lot higher than 7% and we can increase revenue even more. So, in the middle term, we need to implement off-season activities. As my partner mentioned, hiking, bike trails, and nature watching are all great ways to do this. Some of our competitors are already doing this. We also need to continue to reduce that long-term debt. Maintaining the same payment that we're currently making will allow us to pay off the principal amount a lot faster going forward. So, in the long term, we need to mold the brand of Drowning Mountain and combine it with the community. We've already got high community involvement, so going forward, we need to increase this even more. We can do this by exploring mutually beneficial arrangements with local businesses. Lazario has already expressed an interest in acquiring the naming rights of Drowning Mountain, and this will increase our revenue, which will offset costs going forward. So next, we're going to look at a few of the risks and how to mitigate those risks. First off, what if there's no increase in customers when we lower our prices? We can mitigate this by offering the new prices as a promotion rather than fully implementing them right off the bat. This will allow us to go back to our current prices if there is no increase. However, we feel that this is a low probability simply because lower prices almost always attract new customers or more customers. Next, what if MacArthur doesn't want to renegotiate the current debt? We think that he'll see the wisdom of relieving himself of that debt, taking it off of his personal books, and putting them into the company books in the form of bank debt or mortgage. This will also allow us to lower our interest payments. Finally, what if those off-season activities are unsuccessful? Well, we can implement them on a trial basis and follow them moving forward. If they are unsuccessful, it'll be easy enough to transfer back to our current situation of not having them.
So, in summation, Drowning Ski Resort must increase revenue. What we've seen, revenue fell off sharply from 2009 to 2010, and that needs to be addressed. Something that's also very important, we need to see a reduction in the amount of debt carried by Drowning Mountain. If the company does get audited, an auditor may see this as a going concern risk. And also, we need to see you utilize community involvement. As previously stated, community members really do feel involved in Drowning Mountain. So definitely, what we'd like to see you do is use that to your advantage and hopefully work with the community to make a successful organization. Thank you for your time.